Everybody, sit straight, spine erect, chin away from your chest, eyes gently closed. Shift your eye gaze to the third eye, Jyotishmati, the light of awareness within. Take a deep breath and exhale. One more time. Let's begin today's session with the opening chant, Asatoma Sadgamaya. Let's all sing together. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Come everybody for this auspicious day of International Day of Yoga. And I'm super thrilled. I'm extremely grateful to have each one of you join our Satsang to celebrate the joy of yoga. Celebrate the joy of yoga. And this is a United Nations initiative. And we at the 10YEC Youth Excellence Center, our mission is to cultivate entrepreneurial and excellence mindset in youth. Youth means essentially a mindset based on yogic superpowers. So this day is the core festival for all of us. It means it defines our core essence. So regarding today's event, what we're going to do is we're going to start with some invocations. First, we're going to offer our invocation to Sage Patanjali. And then we're going to begin with the International Day of Yoga's, the core theme. It's a prayer of unity and excellence from Rigveda, Sangachadwam, Samvadadvam. We're going to chant together. We're going to chant together. I'm going to play that clip. I would encourage all of you to sing along. We're going to sing along using the same track. And then after that, we are going to meditate for some time, connecting to the essence and the theme of that prayer. And then we're going to jump into the main sessions. We'll have, two primary sessions. One is we're going to study some Patanjali Yoga Sutra about particularly the primary skill of Samyama. We're going to learn about Samyama. And then we also have Acharya Garu, the founder of Lead India Foundation, who is on a mission to transform India's youth. And we're blessed to have him join today's session. We'll have him share some of his reflections on Sanathana Dharma and the relevance of Sanathana Dharma and yoga in transforming today's youth to work for self-development, self-transformation, and to work for the country's the transformation, India and the rest of the world. And then depending upon how it goes, we'll also have some singing, and we may have some surprise guests. So that's the event for today. So let's begin today's session with offering our salutations and pranams to Sage Patanjali. And again, follow with me in saying follow after me, and as we are offering our salutations to Sage Patanjali. Everybody take a deep breath and exhale. Yogena chittasya padena vacha malam sharirasya cha Vaidyakena Vyopakarotam Pravaram Muninam Patanjalim Pranjali Ranatosmi. Saith Patanjali gave three big gifts to the human mankind, for the human mankind. So these are probably the three universal sciences. The first one is the Yogena Chittasya. As Patanjali says, Patanjali is the one who gave the sacred Yoga Sutra, the knowledge and wisdom of yoga, to control our mind. Patanjali did not define it as a control for the body. Yogena Chittasya, to harmonize our mind, to keep our mind in a harmonious state. And at the very same time, Padena Vacha, Patanjali composed grammar for Sanskrit so that we can communicate. We can communicate with each other to establish the unity. And then the third one, Patanjali is also credited to have invented Ayurveda. In the Charaka Samhita, the sage Charaka is considered to be one of the incarnations of sage Patanjali. So for Malam Shariram Vaidhyakena, for the body that actually gets into Dvandvas, the conflicts or the disease, Patanjali and Charaka, they invented Ayurveda to keep our body in a healthy state. For those sage Patanjali who kept our Trikarana Shuddhi, to keep our body in harmony, to keep our walk in harmony, and to keep our mind in harmony, so that we can establish in Trikarana Shuddhi within ourselves, so that we can establish oneness with the world around us. For that, says Patanjali, we all offer our salutations and pranams. So with that invocation, let's begin today's primary thing. And in the IDY, in the International Day of Yoga, in the United Nations protocol that is defined, there is one verse from Rig Veda that is used as the essence of International Day of Yoga, or the essence of yoga, which is what? Sangachadwam, Samvadadvam, Samvomanamsi, Janatam, Devo Bhagam, Yada Purve, Samjanana Upasate. So the first verse essentially says Sangachadwam. It means let's all walk together, Chadwam. Let's all unite our steps together. Samvadadvam means let's unite our words together. Let's speak the word of the message of unity and excellence. And then Samvo Manamsi Janatam. Let's unite our minds together. So that is the essence of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to play that video, and let's sing that for about 3 times. And then we're going to do meditation for a couple of minutes to make that sankalpa to create the vibrations of unity and excellence within ourselves and within everybody. So I'm going to share my screen. And let's all try to sing along the chant, and you will see the lyrics. And then I'll play this for about 3 times, and then after that we'll do some meditation. Sangachadwam, Samvadadvam, Samvomanamsi, Sangachadwam, Samvadadvam, Samvomanamsi, Yada Purve, Samjanana Upasate, Sangachadvam, Samvadadvam, Samvomanamsi, Janatam, Samano Mantra Samiti Samani, Samanam Mana Sahachittamesam, Samanam Mandram Avimantraye Tvasamanenavo Havisajuhomi, Samano Mantra Samiti Samani, Samanam Sahachittamesam Samanam Mantram Abhimantraye Vasamanena Havisajuhomi Sangachadwam Samvadadvam Sambhovanamsi Janatam Samaniva Kuti Samana Hridayaniva Samanamastu Gomano Yadava Suhasani Samaniva Kuti Samana Hridayaniva Samanamastu Gomano Yadava Suhasani Sangachadwam Samvadadvam Sambhovanamsi Janatam Sangachadwam Samvadadvam Sambhovanamsi Janatam Sangachadwam Samvadadvam Sambhovanamsi Janatam. Let's close our eyes. Let's connect to the intention of unity and excellence within and with everybody around. Let's do it one more time, and then we're going to move into the other sessions. And this time, everybody, please open up your voices and sing with full exuberance, connecting to the essence. This is our wisdom. This is what the great saints gave us as a blessings for the entire humanity. To begin. Sangachadwam Samvadadvam Sambhovanamsi Janatam Sangachadwam Samvadadvam Sambhovanamsi Janatam Sangachadvam Samvadadvam Sambhovanamsi Janatam Samano Mantrasamiti Samani Samanam Sahachittamesam Samanam Mantram Abhimantraye Vasamanena Sajuhomi Samano Mantrasamiti Samani Samanam Mantram Abhimantraye Vasajuhomi Sangachadwam Samvadadvam Sambhovanamsi Janatam Samaniva Samana Hridayaniva Samana Suhasati Samaniva Kuti Samana Hudayaniva Samanamastu Manuyata Suhasati Sangachadwam Samvadadvam Sangachadwam Samvadadvam Samvomanasi Jagatam Sangachadwam Samvadadvam Samvomanasi Jagatam. Everybody, close your eyes. As the prayer said, let's unite our body, words, and mind for unity and excellence within ourselves and within everybody and nature around us. Let's do some meditation for a few minutes. Ready? Gently release your eyes. Open your eyes. And welcome everybody. And we have our chief guest, Dr. Sudarshan Acharya, the founder of Lead India Foundation. Let me. Dr. Sudarshan Acharya, founder of Lead India Foundation, who is our chief guest for today's event. And we're extremely blessed and delighted to have Dr. Acharya Garu be here with us in the United States. He is joining from North Carolina. And some of you know, Dr. Acharya is the founder of Lead India Foundation. He collaborated with Dr. Abdul Kalam in creating a mission for India and universe called AVDD, Aap Badhao, Desh Ko Badhao. And this is to transform 20 crore youth. And so far there is about 18 lakh youth that they train. In fact, some of the athletes that we know, PV Sindhu, Govichan, Shrikant Bolla, and these all went through this program, and our own Ramakant Garu also went through the program. So without much further ado, Pranam Acharya, welcome.
Pranam, may God bless you, all of you.
And what we would like to do is, Acharya Garu, as we were talking, we would love to hear from you about your reflections on Sanathana Dharma, reflections on your Sanathana Dharma and yoga and its relevance for contemporary youth and today's India situation, and also for the excellence of one's individual self and India and also the broader universe. So all over to you. Surrender.
Ramanidaya, may God bless all of you. You are worthy children of Bharat's Sanatana Dharma, celebrating International Yoga Day in the United States of America. That itself is a great blessings of all the Patanjali and all your saints and sages of this great country, Bharat. May God bless all of you. Hearty congratulations. And since all of you are already yoga masters, I feel I need not have to tell much about how the yoga unites body, mind, and soul, ignites the inner excellence, igniting the infinite hidden potential and brings all of us together. It is unlike other exercises. It is not for, say, getting strength or only health. It is a great boon that the ancient Indian saints and sages have given to the whole of the humanity to realize oneself as the infinity, Aham Brahmasmi itself. We are all one and the same. That is the ultimate knowledge that Adi Shankara Acharya also has propounded in Advaita. We are all on the same path. I am very happy to connect with Srinivas Gurrapu, the founder of YEC, a great yoga master and technologist, doing his best, conducting these sort of programs and uniting all of us together for the great cause. And all the supporters, I am really pray for you and all your family members. It is though number is not the criteria, but the dedication and the unity and the experience of this oneness is the ultimate purpose and essence. I really pray for all of you and your family members, my dear friends. Ramanujaya, may God bless all of you. And here I've got my friend Ramakant, who is also a yoga master. And he is taking the knowledge of the Abbudo, Deshkupado, level 1, 2, 3, 4 for whole of the humanity. Day and night he is with me and the Lead India Foundation movement. And a minute to share about the Lead India Foundation. Though it is an NGO, the objective is the India is dominated with the 65% of youth below the age of 35 years. So today, India is under a great transition. Not only the India, the whole globe is under a transition that youth is taking up the whole of India. So here is a great unique situation. The ancient India, Sanathana Dharma, Sanatana Bharat, has become Yuva Bharat with a working force average age is 29 years. So with this now, there is a greater responsibility on all of us and whole of Indians and the humanity in recognizing the principles of the Sanatana Dharma. It is not, as we all know, it is not for one country called as India. Loka samastha sukhino bhavantu. Okay, so that is our motto. So we are not global village, but Vasudaika Kutumbam. So with this, we are all working. Now, just without taking much of your time, there is a need for all of us to break our silence and talk with the youth and empower youth, make them pass on the knowledge of what we are striving through YEC, Srinivas, and all of us. It is the need of the hour. If you see in India today, the Agnipat scheme introduced by the government of India, none other than our Army, Air Force, and Navy chiefs for the country. And it may be having its own loopholes or whatever, but still, in a democratic country, we need to, though we are using it everything as a fundamental rights, but fundamental duties we are ignoring. So that is where we have to open up the eyes of the youth, and we need to voice over and give the relevancy that we are all inheritors of the Sanatana Dharma. And Mahatma Gandhi led the first national movement, and Dr. Abdul Kalam ji declared Lead India as a second national movement. So here, the need of the hour is we need to give our voice and grab as many youth as possible to our heart, and in a love, prema eva niyama, with prema tattva, shanti tattva only, we need to convince them and bringing them to protect the, say that India, I'm India, India is first. So all my caste, region, religion, etc. are next. So can we all bring that sort of a thing along with the Sanatana Dharma principles and the yoga? That is the need of the hour, because they are going to, they are already taking hold of the whole country. So if we all unite and do our best, that is for ourselves only. It is our duty. We are performing our own duty, not for namesake or not for any other. It is all some other time. Again, we are going to meet along with Srinivas Guru Ramakant Garu. So with this, I thank Srinivas Garu and Ramakant and all my members for giving me this unique opportunity of talking on this International Yoga Celebration Day. Thank you very much. Once again, may God bless all of you and your family members. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Om Tat Sat. Sarvam Sri Ramarpanamast. Ramanidaya. Thank you, Srinivas.
Thank you so much when you said prema eva, we have to win everything with shanti. Prema and shanti is what the essence of yoga, not with any other hatred. Do you have a few more minutes? Would love to ask a few questions and would love to hear your response, your thoughts about it. Do you have a few more minutes?
Yeah. Please feel free. Time is yours only.
Yeah, and everybody, if I could kindly request all of you to open your video, I would love to get one picture with Acharya Garu, all of us.
Ramanidaya, Ramachandra, Rakshamam. May God bless all of you.
Please kindly open your videos for a moment.
Hey Raman, Ramachandra, Rakshamam. May God bless all of you. Great work you are all doing, beta. May God bless you, Rama. May God bless you. Hey Ramachandra.
I also see some surprise guests like Shravya Garu and Alexa. That's good. And okay, everybody. And surprise people like, Ramakant was hiding for quite some time. And out of all people, Kiran Garu is hiding. I see. And then Geeta Garu.
Srinivas. Srinivas Gurap Garu. Yes, one snap with the Lead India symbol, all of us greeting that we are resolving on this day to lead India.
Yeah. Everybody with the thumbs up, right? And everybody with this. And then I'll show one more gesture, later. Geeta Garu, Vinita Garu, if you want to do that. Good. So this is Lead India, Lead India, Lead India. Everybody say Lead India 3 times. Lead India, Lead
Thank
India.
you. Lead India, Lead India. May God bless all of you. Thank you.
So
I'm open for any questions.
Yeah. So one is, tell me a little bit about, your understanding of Dr. Abdul Kalam. What your perception of it? Because you work with him very closely. And if you were to describe Dr. Abdul Kalam and his vision for India and where we are.
Yeah, for that matter, I wish to share with all of you. God has blessed me, connected me to work with President Dr. Kalam for 4.5 years when he was the President of India. And almost till last breath, we were all connected, working on the nation and the youth. Only these two were the topics that we have worked for about 12 years. So I love to answer any of your questions, please.
Yeah. Anything of what is the vision of Dr. Abdul Kalam for today's youth, and where are we right now?
Shall I start answering or any further questions?
Please.
Right. Okay.
We'll take one question.
Okay. My God bless you. Very good, pertinent question. In fact, for all of us well-educated people, particularly you all came to this golden planet of Earth, United States of America. So when India can become a developed country like America or other countries, was a question pondering in the mind of Dr. Kalam. That was almost from his youth days, the question was lingering in his mind. And he has been doing his best as an individual. And all of us also were feeling that how long we will call India as a developing country, when this will be a developed country. So all of us also were feeling the same thing, whole of India also. Similarly, Abdul Kalam ji also. And he is one privileged who has done 12 years of research on this one particular question, how developing India can be a developed country. On this, he has done 12 years of research, my dear friends. Then he published all his research revelations in a book called as India 2020. India 2020, Vision for New Millennium. He has published it. All of you can go on the online, you can go through that book. So finally, the summary to share with you in this brief meeting, he has identified 5 core areas to convert this country from a developing state to be called as a developed country. So India being an agricultural country, even today 60% of our population is living on the agriculture. So agriculture is the main and core sector. Along with agriculture, he has added food processing also. So agriculture and food processing is one sector. The another one is India being a heavily populated country. Health and education are 2 primary things to make this a developed country. Second one. Third one is power sector. It should become independent. Just India has become independent. Now we are celebrating 75th year of independent Amritotsav. Like that, he identified power is the third sector where we should have whatever power we want, we should have it. That he declared this as a power independence. Third one. The fourth one is IT and technology. So this should be explored. It should become, it should be integrated with all the departments of the governance, and it should become part of the human life. Then every individual, if they are using it and government using it, it's a governance, then this can be a developed country. So you are all IT experts. And fifth one is strategic sector, infrastructure, strategic sector. So These 5 core areas he identified, and the whole book runs with a lot of his experiments on these things. So these are the 5 core areas. And these 5 core areas, besides this, he also propounded 5 connectivities: electronic connectivity, transport connectivity, economic connectivity, education connectivity, and last one, after connecting with me and the Lead India Foundation, he added youth connectivity. So likewise, these 5 connectivities are very, very important to make this India a developed country. So now, when he was alive, he has also propounded Pura, providing urban amenities to rural areas. In a very big way, he has gone to several assemblies, he has presented in the parliament, he has done his best. And some states like composite Andhra Pradesh, where Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu got the input from that, and he also declared Vision 2020 document. Like that, several other states also have done. But now, as he is no more, slowly all that have come into the pipeline. And now it is the responsibility of the government, corporations, and the NGOs and the people to take it for his vision as a mission. That is where this Lead India Foundation is doing its own humble way, and invites all of us to join with this mission, join with the YES, join with all the organization in an inclusive way. Only we all have got just like 2 eyes, 2 things: youth and the nation. With this, in an inclusive mode, further we have to continue to work, carry the, and the youth of India is going to be developed up to 2050. The youth is going to be in an increasing pattern. So we need to have dividends from the youth, not like the present Agnipath. The youth are being used in a wrong sense. That's where we have to stop it. And in a productive way, we have to convert it to achieve Dr. Kalam's vision of developed India. I think I have any more questions also, I will answer.
Thank you, Acharya, for sharing light on Abdul Kalam's vision and his framework for connectivity, 5 dimensions of connectivity, and all the areas that he identified for development. And as you rightly said, youth is our potential, youth is our promise, youth is our leverage for India with the greatest asset. But misguided youth could be a great liability, which is what we are seeing at the current episode of Agnipath. So that is the greatest Shakti that we have. It's all about us coming together in guiding and making them as part of us to truly realize the vision of Dr. Abdul Kalam. So if anybody has any other questions, for Dr. Acharya Garu?
Yeah, I am open.
Yeah, and one other thing is, for some of you that are part of the YEC, the 10 YEC is very much, part of the LIF mission, and we're working together in transforming some mandals within Warangal, and we're going to continue to expand, and we're going to continue to rely on Acharya Garu as our guiding light and the force, and we're going to continue to express ourselves, with all the partnerships. Any other questions? So if not, let's jump into...
So, yeah, without, this is not a question, but for all the friends out here, just to introduce Acharya Garu also. This is, so for me, personally, as well as many of the sadhaks, Acharya is an enlightened master by himself, but he's more famous in the social circles as a social leader. So we will work, Sriniji, we'll plan many more sessions of the general spiritual level questions, some amazing life that Acharya ji had, which I do not want to ask here because it led to a book already of his life history. Similar kind of questions of A to Z, especially this boy of Ramakant who was almost 18 years old asking all kinds of questions and getting his answers. So with that, back to Sriji.
Excellent. So before we jump
Hey,
into
Rama.
Ramanidaya. Ramanidaya is one of the Acharya Garu's dharana, which is japa. That's his phrase. And in fact, when we go to study Patanjali Samyama, we can all
Hey, Rama.
come up with, one of these techniques of using, some of this, japa mantra as your way of being to harmonize our mind. We're going to look into that when we look at the Samyama. But Acharya Garu, thank you for always being there. I know you are an infinite and you'll always be there with us. Kiran?
May God bless you. May God bless you, all of you and your family members.
Can I tell you what's the magic right now? And I'll tell you. So because I was just thinking that, before we move into another kind of a knowledge kind of a thing,
Hey,
and
Rama.
I was going to surrender to you to ask you to sing one song. And then before I even express my thought, and then you show up. Okay.
Acharya Garu, it's an honor to join this Zoom call with you and to listen to the insights that you shared. Thank you so much for taking time. I did want to touch upon one question for you, if I may.
Please feel free, Ma.
So, we are a generation that, we born in India, came here for a living, or life brought us here and we transitioned from one life to another, really. So we always have this dvandva, right? Like this situation wherein you have your Janma Bhumi, you have your Karma Bhumi, right? Like the land that gave you birth, but the land that gave you that, next phase of life. So any insights that you would like to share for us to think about that dual role we are playing so that we find peace within ourselves and we feel belonged to both places but not lost?
A very good question, beta. May God bless you. You are all born in India and your DNA is of 7 generations from your mother's side, 7 generations from your father's side, that you are carried to now United States of America. And this United States of America also is, in some places it is described as a Swargam, Swargolokam. And as a yoga bhumi, karma bhumi. This is a bhoga bhumi. So you are from karma to bhoga. At the same time, the very about what we can give back to India and what is the righteous thing that we can do to India, that we can balance it with America, because this is the karma bhumi. This is where you are having your children. Our only Sanathana Dharma is the ultimate answer for all the questions, now and later also, for whole of the humanity also. So your question also is answered from the Sanathana Dharma. So the very word dharma, if it is understood, then the karma and janma, all these things also will be solved. Our janma is because of the karma, whether it is you are serving properly India, properly America, but it leads to the next janma. So the whole of our Indian philosophy and the whole of the humanity's ultimate eternal goal is to break the birth and death cycle. So this karma of India as well as America leads for another janma. So now I am asking you, because you are all mathematicians, just to have a triangle. In this triangle center, you, for the top circle, you write your janma, whatever your name. Left side, you write your karma. Right side is the pointer which gives you solution, that is dharma. to explain that Sanatana Dharma, the word Dharma, to understand the whole Lord has taken a birth as a Lord Rama, only to explain to the universe, to the whole of the humanity, how to avoid this, how to do the karma and avoid janma. That is only possible with the understanding and living with the dharma. That is why Rama is called as Rama Vigrahavan Dharma. He has come as a Vigraha Swarupa, Manav Swarupa, to make it very clear how the janma karma has to be led. And that is how he has given to all of us dharma. And so with the dharma only, your dharma towards India, whatever you feel, your dharma towards the US also, it is your dharma. Both the things you have to discharge, no concession in that. Because again, any dharma, any part of the dharma is left over, again it will lead to another jarma. So both the countries are our own countries, or not only both the countries we have got a responsibility. But the Sanatana Dharma also says, Sarva Lokam Jagan Atmamayam Jagat. So everything is Atman only. So everywhere, that is again Bhagavad Gita, the step reference if you take, Swadharmo Nithanam Sreya Paratharmo Bhayavaha. So one sentence, you can take it from Bhagavad Gita also, relate all of these things, study all of these things. Studying is one thing, practically thinking, talking and doing, Trikarana Siddhi, Sangachadwam, Srinivas has introduced. Those three things are very, very, very important to fulfill our dharma. I think I have taken a long time to explain your question. Anytime anybody can ask me. And whole of my life, as Ramakant has made it, this is only the word driving force of my life from last 40 years. This is only the word. What is my dharma for this life? That's all. So I am open to answer further anytime with anybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Am I
very
clear
much.
to you, Beta?
Yes, Sandy, thank you so much. It's very insightful and very, in-depth answer, right? So I'm listening, but also I'll take time to process every word that you say. So thank you so much for taking time.
My God bless
Acharya,
you.
if I may, Kiran is also from Warangal. She's actually
Okay.
a gold medalist from NIT Warangal. We both come from the same thing. And Kiran and her family have been our partners at YAC for 4+ years. And she's an integral part of her entire family is devoted to music, yoga, and Sanathana Dharma followers. And we call them as our Asthana musicians. And Kiran and her daughter are trained in Carnatic music. And Kiran's husband, Gopi, is also plays tabla. That they come from a very big music family. So on that note, now Kiran actually talked a lot about it. Now you have to substantiate it with and then sing one song, please, for us. Just a little bit, at least something.
Yes, Srini, thank you for the good words. Very honored. But Acharya ji, is just like our interest to keep some positive elements of life. That's all I would say. And I'll sing a very small, like one stanza of Annamaya Kirtana. तिरुमलगिरिराय देवराहुत्तराय सुरतविन्नाळराय सुगुणकोनेटिराय तिरुमलगिरिराय सिरुलसिंगारराय चेलुवपुतिमराय सरसवैभवराय सकलविनोदराय सिरुलसिंगारराय चेलुवपुतिमराय सरसवैभवराय सकलविनोदराय वरवसन्तमुलराय वनितलवितराय गुरुतैनतीगराय కొండలకు నీటిరాయ తిరుమలగిరిరాయ దేవరాహుత్తరాయ సురత విన్నాళరాయ సుగుణకో నీటిరాయ తిరుమలగిరిరాయ 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 తిరుమలగిరిరాయ.
Wow.
Thank you, everyone.
Wow.
You are a blessed Kiran, ma'am. May God bless you. You are a blessed soul. May God bless you. Come on.
And Acharya Garu, when you are here, Kiran also lives very close to where I live. So when you are back on July 5th, we should spend some time as part of our satsangs.
Hey Raman, surely better. May God bless all of you. Surely, I am always available for service. May God bless you.
Yeah. The one thing that the thing that I like about Acharya Garu is, instead of giving cookie cutter answers, he allows us to investigate and arrive at our own, answer. So it's kind of an empowerment style. So the way he answered, the thing that resonated with me is the triangle. This is like Janma, Karma, Dharma. And basically it's like, we all are the quarterbacks of this triangle, which is like, where karma leads to Dharma, Dharma leads to, it's like, anashayam. Karma becomes zero, no Janma. So basically it's like, you figure out how to steer the vehicle, right? So that's what it says. And the beautiful thing is, the session that we're going to talk about is Samyama. And the Samyama is one secret that Patanjali revealed as a way to steer this triangle. In fact, one of the Patanjali's Yoga Sutra says, Tatra Dhyanajam Anashayam. When we root all our thoughts and actions and the word from a state of meditative mind, or from a state of harmonious mind, those actions will not accumulate any residue. Those become residue free, anashayam. That's one of the Patanjali's universal truth. So that is one of the ways we could actually achieve the state of liberation, the moksha, or connect to our own self. So we are going to look into in just a moment. But before we do that, are there any other performances that we want to have? Savita Garu, I know it's been a long time since you sang something for us.
No, today, please excuse me.
I think like you want to sing your Ganesha prayer, or no excuse?
No, not today. Sorry. Thank you.
Okay. Raghuji, anything? Any prayer, any song, any verse, or any words of reflection that you want to have on the International Day of Yoga?
Yeah, nothing in particular. I have not prepared for anything, but impromptu. Yeah, so just be happy to be part of the YAC activities as always, right? And one thing that you are thinking of elaborating, Sriniji, is to see how we can maximize the use of your YAC ranch, and really looking to see how we can bring more activities in there. So it was eye-opening to see how we can make it more options, more possibilities to have these activities at the ranch, right? So definitely looking forward to work with you to see how we can expand the horizons and possibilities. Right? Thank you very much.
Good. And any things, Shravya or Alexa, anything that you want to say about your understanding of yoga and relevance of it? Anything that you would want to say?
Give me a second. We'll think on it. You can go to the next person in this one.
Or just say a few words. Yeah.
A few words on yoga. I think yoga is good and it's good for everyone's health. We've been doing International Day of Yoga since like when we went to Berlin once for International Day of Yoga. So we did like a big celebration there, which was very nice with Sri Sri Ravi Shankar. And yeah, it's a good day to like unite as a group and celebrate the good practice.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. That was a long time ago. Anybody else, wants to share, or let me actually quickly flip gears and then talk about Samyama, and which is something that we all need to always be aware of and educated. So this is our fullest potential. So let me share my screen. Just give me 1 second. I just saved it and then okay, good, got it. Okay. So this is our reflection or our understanding of what is yoga. And then we're going to talk about, as Patanjali reveals the secret of excellence, one of the superpowers that we all can cultivate, particularly the youth needs to cultivate. It's called Samyama. And in the Samyama, and before I begin, I offer my pranam and gratitude to Dr. Sriram Sarvottamji and Ekaji, who blessed me with this knowledge of Patanjali Yoga Sutra and Bhagavad Gita, and everything that I share is a blessing of them, and I try to do my best to relay that understanding. So we all know from the yoga. Yoga is, as Patanjali defined in the Yoga Sutras, the first and foremost it is Atha Yoga Anushasanam. Yoga is a self-discipline. And this is something that Dr. Acharya Garu is talking about. Today, in a country like in India and United States, we are blessed to have institutions such as democracy, where it's all about freedom. Freedom. Every individual has a freedom of speech, freedom of action, freedom of electing the governance. But the freedom is actually comes from having discipline. The biggest thing is, you get the happiness and the joy or the maximum excellence only when the freedom is coupled with the greatest discipline. And that's what yoga is. Patanjali talks about Atha Yoga Anushasanam. It's a discipline that we inculcate amongst ourselves. The discipline to practice yoga, discipline to keep our body fit, keep our mind in focus and harmony, and keep ourselves peaceful, and a discipline to keep our surroundings clean. These are all the practices that we have to inculcate as a way of yoga. And the second sutra that we all know, and even in our prayer to Patanjali, we said Yogena Chittasya Patanjali gave us the knowledge of yoga to harmonize our mind. And we all know the definition of the yoga is all about your mind, which is chitta. Chitta's vritti is the tendencies, is to go in many ways, to create all kinds of tendencies, to go jump back and forth. All the thoughts, thinking constantly oscillating between the past and the future. And when we are here, the mind actually starts spending some time and energy in using all the prana. Every thought consumes prana. And if you're thinking about what is after dinner or when is this session, so we are actually burning prana, our essential life force, in this continuous spurring of thoughts. And in this yogic system, we actually look at the mind states, mind in 5 states. The first one is, it's called disturbed or monkey. It's constantly jumping around. The second one is muda, or the dull state. It's a completely tamas, where you're not jumping around, but you're stuck in lethargy, dullness, sorrow, and you completely masked your exuberance of the divinity within. And then the third one is what we refer to as a butterfly mind, where there is moments of exuberance where you fly, but again, you fall back to either one of the dull state or the monkey state. And then the last 2 states are ekagra, which is the one-pointed or the focused mind, and then the thumb, which is the Lead India Foundation symbol, which is the mastered or the harmonious mind. The entire process of yoga is to regulate or stop these 3 states of mind, to transcend these states of mind, so that we are always established in ekagra and harmony, the mastery. And this is what sometimes we call as the YEC gesture. We call it the bingo. And just like Lead India Foundation has a thumb, YEC, we always represent as this, because this is what is our true state of the mind that we need to get to. Focus, harmony. Focus and mastered mind. Okay. So what happens when we establish ourselves in that focused and mastered mind is that the mind is essentially like a filter. It is creating all the impressions and the duality, and it's allowing us to experience sorrow, happiness, momentary, and we are making judgments, and we are dissipating all the prana, the life force. Instead of deploying that energy and the prana in achieving the mission that you are engaged in, whether it's in a classroom or at a workplace or in a satsang, where you are 100% focused in internalizing that, the mind cycles through all these different tendencies. It burns through all the prana. But when you regulate it, then the mind essentially becomes still, like the surface of a clear water. And as you can see in these pictures, at that time, you can clearly see the depth of the lake. And you connect tadadrastu swarupe avasthanam. At that time, we get reposed in the drashta, swarupe, our real self. So those actions, when the mind becomes focused and harmonious, all the thoughts and the words and the actions are powered from the divinity within. We ascribe divinity. And all those actions are always result in excellence. They don't create violence. So all the power is in the mind, organizing in the mind. And then when the mind is established in the bingo, the focused and the harmonious mind, and that's when we need to act. And this is what we define in different textures. Like in the Bhagavad Gita, yoga is defined as yoga karmasu kausalam, the skillness in action. No matter what situations that you're in, sometimes you're presented in a troubled context, like for example, it's an Agnipath where you may not agree with all the things. It might create some anxiety and the fears, but the skillness to be able to act with harmony. Skillness in action is yoga without having any negative emotion. Negative emotion is only the job of the mind. The only emotion of the self is Ananda. Sat, Chit, Ananda. Always represent truth and always be joyful. That yoga is to, no matter what you're doing, even when you are in a war, you should operate from a sense of harmony. Not because you're trying to take revenge. You're actually only doing the dharma. And the other definition that is also revealed in the Gita is Samatvam Yoga Uchyate. In all situations, pleasure or pain, to be able to maintain that equanimity. And in Yoga Vashishta, Vashishta tells, Vashishta tells Lord Rama, Manah Prashamna Upayaha is yoga. Manah Prashamna Upayaha. It's the technique, is the skill, it's the trick to keep our mind in the harmony is yoga. So for that, there are, and the beautiful thing is when you are established in that focused and the harmonious mind, two things happen. One is you are established in harmony, you are peaceful, you're joyful, but at the very same time, your capacity increases. Your capacity, you're improving your capability and the capacity as you are increasing the harmony of the mind. One of the examples that we quote in the YAC is Alex Honnold, who climbed the Yosemite, the half dome straight up without using any props, without using any rope. And when people studied his MRI and so on and so forth, where it's always in every moment, at every step on the climb, Alex's mind is focused on the next step. There is no other prana dissipation. It's only focused on that, where the point that he is and the point that he's going to move to the next. And in harmony, there is no fear. There is nothing about what if I fall off? What if I cannot make it? No, it's only focused on the action at hand. And that's when the nature surrenders. Something like a great mountain surrenders to a 6 feet man, Alex Honnold. And this is the capability, this is the capacity, this is the skill that can be cultivated in every youth. And that's how transformations happen. Transformation within self, transformation within schools, transformation within a country, and transformation of the world. Where everybody has the opportunity to realize that infinite within. And it all comes down to organizing our mind, organizing our thoughts, so that they're singularly focused on the task at hand, whether you're in a classroom, whether you're in satsang, whether in your yoga class, or whether you're eating, or whether you're even watching a movie. Every action that we do requires 100% focus and 100% attention, 100% harmony. No chatter of the mind. Any thoughts, comments? Anybody wants to share? Do you agree with this? That as we establish more focus and harmony, our capacity improves and our harmony improves? Savita Garu. Now you have to say something. Okay, so let me do one quick thing. I'm going to introduce the concept of Samyama very quickly, and then we also have a very surprise special guest, and I'm going to reveal her in just a moment. But let's continue with.
Sriniji, this is Neeta. I'm sorry, I can't come on camera, but I just wanted to say that, what you said really resonates. And I feel like training the mind is like exercising, and you strengthen your muscles when you exercise. So as you train your mind, you strengthen the muscle of your mind to stay focused and concentrated. So it takes time, and it takes patience and persistence.
So that's absolutely. And in fact, in the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, Patanjali revealed a systemic method and how to train the mind to achieve the greatest or the highest power. It's known as Samyama. Yama means control. Samyama means complete control. It's accumulation of all the powers of the mind together. Samyama. It's the total control, complete control of the mind so that you can stay focused in harmony. And that is what is revealed as there are three great powers of the mind. And Patanjali defined Samyama as Trayam Ekatra Samyama. The three powers, the three inner powers, the Antaranga Sadhana, the three inner powers of the mind, when we bring them together, when we collect them together, that's when Samyama is achieved, the total control. And those three powers are Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. Dharana is power of concentration. Dhyana is meditation. And the third is Samadhi, is total immersion. And we're going to quickly talk about these three powers of the mind. And these are systematically cultivated. These can be cultivated. And in fact, this is probably the greatest instruction that we need to impart to today's youth, right from when they are in the school ages. But at the very same time, just because we are going to be soon 50, it doesn't mean that we lost our chance. We are kids always. We can get started at any time. So what is dharana? What is dharana? Patanjali defined dharana as Desa Bandasya Chittasya Dharana. Desha means place or an object. Bandasya, Banda means lock. Chitta, when you lock your mind to one place, Desha, one object, that is what is called dharana. It's basically like when your mind is going and across all the different directions, dharana is a practice where you are constantly trying to bring it back to one object. Could be a place in your own body, could be your breath, could be a prop that we use, like a japa, like a mantra that we use, or even some of the practices like a trataka kriya, where you light up a candle and you continuously stare at the light of the candle. There are so many techniques. Or one of the other techniques that Patanjali revealed is you can actually highlight one sense, or we amplify one sensory perception. Vishayavativa pravattiruppanna manasa nibandhanani. What it means is, like, for example, you can close your eyes and then only amplify the hearing, and like a meditation ball or like the sound, and only heighten that sensory perception so that the mind is bringing it to the control to focus on one thing. So there are so many techniques of dharana. That's the first power. We always, even when you're doing the asana, we always try to shift our awareness to the toes and the breath. These are all dharana practices. Because the mind always wants to get out of the realm and to go into one of those monkey or donkey or butterfly states. And we are practicing. Dharana is a practice to bring it back to one object of attention. There are so many techniques. And then the second power is dhyana. Dhyana, a lot of people actually have very confused or different definitions. But according to Patanjali, is tatra pratyaya ekatanatha dhyanam. Pratyaya means is the image or the scenery in the mind. When the scenery in the mind stays the same, ekatanatha, when it remains the same from this moment to the next moment, that is called the state of dhyana. And you don't actually practice meditation. You practice dharana. When you master dharana, suddenly your mind enters a state where the current moment and the next moment stays the same, in the action that you're doing or the object that you're doing. And that's when you arrive in meditation. And meditation is not a tamas state. It's not like sleep. or a deep sleep. Meditation is an active state. It's like the light is the flame of a candle. It's continuously glowing. And in the meditation, Patanjali reveals and again, meditation is the flow state that you arrive at. When you arrive at. And that means you already establish control of the mind to be able to regulate the mind to stay focused on one object, and that becomes the focus for you. And that is the harmonious state that you arrive into. And when you are in that meditative state, Patanjali says, Tatra dhyanajam manashayam. And there is no other chatter. There is only one thought that's constantly being projected to yourself. And all the thoughts, and all the words, and all the actions that you do from that meditative state becomes residue free, anashayam. And it also says, Patanjali also says, dhyana is a technique. Dhyana heya tadvrittayaha. Meditation is the only technique to rid of all the vrittis of the mind. Dhyana heya tadvrittayaha. And then when we practice that when you enter into that meditation, eventually that pratyaya becomes the only thing that remains. There is no duality of you and the object, the image in the mind. And that's when you become samadhi. And Patanjali defines that as tadeva ardham arthamiva nirbhasham swarupa shunyameva samadhi. What it means is, when you are in that state of meditation, and when you are in that meditation, suddenly you lose your own identity, the subject. The pratyaya in the mind, the object only remains. Swarupa shunyamivaha. The subject of you disappears. Only the object remains. The thing that you are pursuing, like for example, could be your exam, or could be your asana, or could be the rock climbing that Alex Honnold is doing. Only the object remains. Or Sachin Tendulkar or Dhoni, when they play cricket, they lose their identity. They only stay focused on meditate on the ball, and then their only focus is how to hit the ball. They forget themselves. They lose themselves. And these are the three that we need to cultivate to every youth. And there are systemic techniques to get there, but it all starts with dharana. And when we apply these three techniques together, the power of focused mind, power of meditative mind, and power of the immersion, where the duality disappears and only the object remains. That could be your deity, that could be your action. And that's when it says, when Samyama is done, then excellence is resulted. This is the secret that Patanjali said. Anybody can gain control on anything, excellence. They can achieve anything that they set out to do, provided we bring all these three powers together. And then there are also more siddhis, but Patanjali said it's not about accumulating some special powers. What Patanjali said is, we can achieve that infinity, we can result in excellence in every action that we do, in the schools, in the class, at the workplaces, at home, and in the community. And that's how unity and excellence is realized. So that's a quick overview of the Samyama. Yama is control. Samyama is a total control. And there is a holistic Ashtanga Yoga system. But to be able to get to this, the three powers, the mastery of these three powers, Patanjali also defined Bahiranga Sadhana. There are other 5 limbs like Yama, Niyama. We need to have good character, good conduct towards others, Ahimsa, Satya, Asteya, Brahmacharya, Parigraha. And then we need to have self discipline. And then asana practice, pranayama practice, pratyahara, mastery over sensory organs. All these 5 prepare you to get into this antaranga sadhana, but ultimate capability that yoga realizes in every being is the power of samyama. And that's when we become the owner of this universe. Owner of this universe is not to rule it, because we become one with the universe. And that's when we become Aham Brahmasmi. We become one with the Supreme. We are nothing but the Supreme. And yoga is a systemic way of realizing that. But for that, you don't need to do anything. We can actually apply Samyama in whatever we do. When we are cooking, when we are doing, when you are with somebody. That's the only thing that should remain. Focus. That's the dhyana, no chatter, and samadhi. Don't try to optimize for what's in it for me. The moment that chatter comes in, move away. We deplete our capability. The more we are trying to optimize for what's in it for me, whether we realize it or not, we are only limiting our capacity, not increasing our capacity. So let me conclude with that Samyama. Any thoughts or any comments? Okay, if there are no thoughts or comments, I hope this is our intention at YAC, is that we want to impart this technique of Samyama and the process and the technique to every youth and every adult, so that everybody can realize the true infinity and the capacity, and they become the masters of creating unity and excellence within themselves and with the world around them. So on that note, I'd love to introduce a very special guest. Neeta ji, if you're comfortable, I'd love to have you open your video. Okay, so this is a very special guest. This is Dr. Neeta, and all I know is, she is an ambassador for an environment. And the thing that fascinated about her with me is she's born here, but she's deeply connected to Advaita, Advaita Vedanta philosophy and Patanjali Yoga Sutras. And it's, to me, it's the first time that experience. Somebody who was born here, who is deeply rooted in, Sanathana Dharma, philosophy, and then also owns a cause of, creating environmental excellence. So that's all I know. So now, Neeta, is all yours. Love for you to share your own reflections on environmental excellence and how Sanathana Dharma, Yoga, Advaita are your reflections, how everything is interconnected. So all the stage is yours.
Oh, thank you so much for that kind introduction. It's very nice to be here. It's such a great event, and certainly wish I, as a youth, I had such wonderful trainings. I think I was just curious. I picked up some text, started reading, but I always kind of knew my own personal essence. I think so Sanatana Dharma, we all have the same Dharma, which is to learn our true self, right? To discover our true nature. And of course, you're all yogis or budding yogis. So that, the goal is to yoke our lower self and our higher self through this practice. And then ultimately, by doing that, we can discover our oneness with the universe, which is, what was just talked about in these today. So how does that relate to the environment? So my own personal journey is, other than, my spiritual journey, my career journey, I always knew was to work for the environment. And so from a young age, I always, just innately knew that. And I got my degree in geochemistry and hydrology, and I'm now a scientist working in water resources at Valley Water. And our goal is to work on water supply, sustainability, flood protection, and ecosystem stewardship for our county. And my personal role is to help manage the drought and our water conservation efforts. So how does this relate to spirituality? Well, if you come to realize that we are all connected, the universe is all very intricately connected, you'll know that we are not separate from the environment. And science has finally, caught up with this understanding, with our understanding of ecosystems. We have, the science has shown that we cannot live without even the microbes in the soils, right? I mean, we are so dependent on our environment, and we're all very closely connected and depend on each other in our ecosystem. So it's really important to protect the environment, and spirituality really points to this. It's such a key understanding as you move through your spiritual practice. So I encourage everybody to in addition to the spiritual practices, which are so important for our development, meditation practices, all of the practices that were discussed today, because yoga is a whole system of living, to apply those in your daily life and your career, and use that single pointed focus to achieve excellence in whatever you do. So those are just a few words, and thank you for having me speak.
Love it, love it. And so Neeta ji, one thing that resonated with me is even the current conditions of the climate change, or the drought, or extreme temperatures, this is the result of the consequence of not living the yoga way of life, right? When there is greed, and when we all live beyond, when we become too much of consumerism, where we are constantly situation in a gratification of too many senses, building big houses and all that stuff. Obviously, that's not from a focused and a harmonious mind. So,
right.
As Patanjali and everybody said, the natural consequence of that is, the nature is going to react. So, once we start, preserving water, when we live within the means, it's not about optimizing the water for your own self, but, looking for the focus and the harmony and the well-being, obviously, you will have, better thing, right? So everything is so beautifully interconnected. Like what, before you join, we also have Dr. Acharya, who is the founder of Lead India Foundation, who worked with Dr. Abdul Kalam, who's one of the founders, on a mission to transform all of India's youth. He was talking about a triangle where one pillar is the janma, the life that we take in, and then the karma is the actions that you perform, and then the third one is dharma. It's like how you live your life. So the puzzle of, if you want to go through this constant cycle of, janmas and all this stuff, it's because of the actions that you do. The more you lead the dharma way of life, or the yoga way of life, right? So then you escape the cycle, is one of the things that he was actually, talking about. And the way you beautifully said, the nature and us are intricately connected. Every action that we do, starting with how much water we're doing, living in a big house, it'll have a direct consequence. It may not be visible in your own county at the moment, but everything is going to catch up. So right, I assume that, yeah, sorry, go ahead. Yeah,
very nicely said. Absolutely.
And I think, it's not a problem only for Valley Water or San Jose, right? If we conserve water here, perhaps, Silicon Valley improves and vice versa, because we're all one.
Right. Absolutely.
And if I have the luxury of embarrassing you one more time, do you want to share your own metaphor of what Advaita means to you, the leaf and tree analogy?
Oh, yes, sure. Well, yeah. There are many analogies, which, I know you may have heard, the ocean and the wave and many, but the one that I like is, I see the universe, God, as one big tree, and we're all leaves on that tree. So if you can focus, all day long on, I'm this little leaf, but at the end of the day, the leaf is also the tree. You are the essence of that tree, just as much as the whole tree. And so I think that is really the heart of Advaita Vedanta, is, you know, seeing yourself, even though you're one particle, you have the essence of that whole. You have the essence of the divine, of the whole universe. So that is the analogy I really like.
Wow. And this is what Vivekananda also says, microcosm and macrocosm. And as in the science, I'm not as gifted as you in the field of science, but you know, the world or the universe within an atom is as magnificent or grandiose as the projected space. So the symmetry, like, you know, what you said, there is as much, the leaf is as much as the tree is. So that's, and yesterday when I listened to this analogy from Neeta Garu, I was so fascinated. That's essentially realizing that we are nothing but that Tattvamasi, or that infinite source. And it's all about cultivating that capability, realizing that capacity. And it all comes down to yoga, getting into focused and harmonious mind, the bingo. If all we can do this and get into Samyama, then, you know, the unity and excellence is realized. So fantastic. What a beautiful, magical session. You know, we plan, as always, we plan it ad hoc. Kiran, do you agree? We always plan ad hoc and we always come out with something great.
Yes, Srini, that's your signature move.
I see. And if you want to open your video, and then I would love for you to do the closing honors. Open your video and then say the final prayer. So everybody, thank you so much for attending the session. We'll end with the final peace chanting. Kiran, please.
It's great having you all. And Srini, thank you for the wonderful session, as always. We'll finish with our closing prayer. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayaha, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
We wish everybody to be happy. We wish everybody to be free of sorrow and illness. We wish everybody to see only auspicious things. Let there be peace, unity, and excellence everywhere. With these wonderful thoughts, rub your palms, generate the fire and love of knowledge. Cup your eyes to transmit this wisdom, to give us the right vision, to see the things the way they are. Samkhya. And slowly, at your own pace, with a bright smile, open your eyes. Okay, once again, have a wonderful rest of the day, at the evening, and happy International Day of Yoga. But it's not limited to just today. And I hope you all take it to like the opening prayer that we did. Sangachadwam, Samvadadvam, Manasi Janatham. Let's make sure that we take the resolution of practicing yoga at least for 30 minutes to organize our mind into focus and harmony. That's the most important thing that we can give to ourselves and to the world, keeping our mind focused and organized. So let's all commit to the practice of yoga at least for 30 minutes every day. And with that, and let's conclude today's session. Namaste.